morning, Dave. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Gay?
Great. What a beautiful day we have over here.
Nice, crisp morning.
Absolutely. We're in the orchards over here with Farmer Dave, and this is a beautiful, place to be right now. And what kind of apples do we have right here, Dave?
Right now, we're standing in the Cortland block. So these we're just now starting to harvest. You can see it's a very nice crop of apples. We're already now picking the Galas, the Macintosh, the Honey Crisp, the Macoons. We're going to start next week, and then still to come will be all the Golden Delicious, Gold Rush, Brayburn, Cameo, some Northern Spies.
Okay, now excuse me. Have you ever heard of Zestar?
Zestar.
Zestar.
Yeah. Zestars, we grow those also. That's an earlier apple that's ready at the end of August. We've already picked them all. We still have some in storage though. So we'll hopefully have those right through the month of September into October.
Somebody gave me one of those, and I said, "Oh, what kind is this?" And they said Zestar. I found it to be very tart.
Yeah, I find a lot of the earlier apples, a lot of the earlier varieties don't have as much sweetness.
No.
I think it takes time growing to create those sugars, but it's a nice, crisp, early apple.
Well, it was crisp. It was.
Yeah. I really like them because again, you don't have that many good alternatives for an August apple.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Excuse me. Let me ask, what's the best pie making apple? I know Cortland is a very good one, and I think Paula Red I've used before for baking.
Another variety that I didn't mention is Ginger Gold.
Oh.
That's a very nice pie apple as well. We still have some of those on the trees, but we've been picking those for a couple of weeks now. We pick several hundred bushels of those. But Cortlands, we'll pick probably at least 1,000 bushels of Cortlands this year. That's kind of one of the standard pie apple varieties. But everybody has a slight preference. My mother has won pie baking contests with the Northern Spy.
Really?
I like the Northern Spy just to eat. It's a little bit on the tartar side and harder. So everybody has their preference. Some people even make a pie with a Macintosh, but some people feel that the Macintosh gets a little bit too soft.
I was just going to say, Macintosh breaks down.
It does.
Almost to the point of mushy.
Right, but it depends how long you cook your pie.
Well,
and also if you're making it crisp, some people like their crisp not as cooked, and sometimes we'll go towards the Macintosh.
If I bake it, it's going to be mushy. If Bob makes it, it might be a little different.
Or some people also like to mix the varieties together, so then you have some pieces that are a little bit mushier, some pieces that are a little bit crisper. Everybody likes their pies and crisps slightly different. I just like eating the apples fresh as is.
And they're good for you too.
An apple a day.
Keeps the doctor away. No, I mix the Cortland with the Paula Red to make a pie.
Yep. No, the Paula Red is another excellent early apple. It actually doesn't look all that different than the Cortland, really.
Right.
It's a nice. The Paula Red is similar to the Cortland in that it's a nice, fully red apple. There's also several strains of Cortlands. We grow a few different strains. This one here is called a Red Cort. Meaning that it has more redness than some of the older Cortland varieties that we also grow, which tend to have a little bit more green on them. So not all varieties of the same apple will necessarily look the same.
No, I noticed that the Paula Red tends to be a little smaller than the Cortlands.
Cortland in general is a larger apple.
Yeah.
But a lot of the size of the apple is determined by how many apples are on the tree and how much water and nutrients the tree got. But you don't want your tree to get too many nutrients. But also, if you have a very dry year and you don't have irrigation, and you have a heavy crop of apples, you're definitely going to have smaller apples. But if you have fewer apples on the tree, they're going to tend to get larger. If you have more water, they're going to tend to get larger as well. You can see, I don't know if you can see them with the camera, but about 1.5 feet off the ground, you see that black hose running along.
I do see that. Is that your irrigation?
That's the drip irrigation lines. So
now, how often does that come on?
It depends on the rains. So this year we almost didn't have to run it at all because we got continuous rains.
Yeah.
Other years we've had to run the irrigation quite a bit.
Now, how did the heat affect the apples this year?
Not too bad. We did have those super hot days.
Oh, yes.
Some of those earlier varieties of the Paula Reds and the Zestars, I noticed in a few spots where they weren't shaded by the sun, they almost got a slight cooking spot.
Really?
But the later varieties weren't affected at all.
They were probably baking on the trees.
Yeah. We even saw that with some of the tomatoes and other things that we grow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you figure if it's 95 degrees out and that that fruit is already 95 degrees, and then the sun hits it, and it's a dark surface.
Gonna cook it.
Yeah, what's the temperature inside that fruit? It's going to be well over 100 degrees.
You got stewed tomatoes on the trees.
You don't have to cook. Who needs
Saves
gas
time.
anymore? Yeah.
Now, how many apples do you generally get off of one tree? Is there a, or they vary probably?
It'll vary. I mean, here these are what are called dwarf apple trees. So it's a smaller,
Look at them.
but it's a smaller root stock. So the root system is preventing the tree from getting too big, and that's why you see here these trees are spaced only about 4 to 5 feet apart.
Oh, okay.
So these trees are smaller by their nature, and so you might tend to get, I would say, maybe about 400 to 500 apples per tree.
Really?
Again, depending on the size
Wow.
and the variety.
I would think
If
with
it was
that,
a larger tree, you might be getting, a big standard sized tree that are spaced, 20 feet apart. Then you might be getting, 2,000 apples per tree.
now when you have that many apples on the tree, does the tree tend to fall over a little bit, or do you have to tie them up? Or?
Well, what we have here, because these root stalks, the root system is smaller,
Mm-hmm.
preventing the tree from getting too big. One of the concerns here is if we get a really heavy wind with a heavy crop of apples, like you
Mm-hmm. Right.
see here, if we get a hurricane, these trees are in danger of toppling over.
Sure.
So that's why we have a wooden post. It's a 10-foot tall post about every 25 feet with a wire running between them, and each wire is connected, and the wire is connected to each tree, just to provide a little bit of extra support
Right.
if you get that hurricane situation.
So they don't fall over.
Correct.
That's terrific. Well,
But
that's
you
great.
can see, I mean, we get a ton of apples, off of a relatively small space here.
Now, do we still have those bags at the beginning of the orchard that attract the
Insect bags.
Are they
Yeah, we
up?
still on the perimeter of the apple orchard. Yeah, that's a pheromone attractant, which attracts the codling moth fly to it, so that they don't enter into the orchard and they stay on the outside of the orchard, thereby preventing worms in your apples.
Yes, we don't want those.
Nobody likes worms.
Although you do see them on the teacher's, desk, but
The worms?
the apple with the worm.
Oh, okay. Who gave that apple?
Well, I don't know. It's another orchard.
All right, no, not my
It
apple.
wasn't. It wasn't Dave's. So, Dave, I have a question. Why can't you tell secrets in the orchard or on the farm? Why shouldn't you tell secrets on the farm?
I don't know. Why do you want to keep things secret? Why don't you just tell everybody? Why does it need to be kept
Well,
secret?
no, there's certain things you can't say on a farm.
Really?
Yeah,
Like
because the potatoes have eyes
Oh,
and the corn has ears. Oh.
You're funny, Gay. You're funny.
Sorry. I had to do it.
Well, we can go see
Did
the
you think we were
potato.
going to get through the whole day without anything?
All
Come
right.
on now.
I think I just heard a request to see some potatoes and some corn.
I think maybe we should do that.
Lend me your ears.
Oh. So what did the photographer say to the mouse?
I have no idea.
Say cheese. All right, that's all I'm going to do. That's it. Dave's going to leave me out in the orchard, go back with Bob.
Have an apple, Gay.
Yeah, have an apple. Don't talk anymore. Thank you.
All right,
thank
end
you.
it with a crunch.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah. I don't know. That's good.
Very good.
Very good. Oh, thank you, Bob. He's going to watch us eat the apple.
You think he wants one?
Would you like an apple? Go ahead, Bob. Take an apple. Remember the way to twist it off.
It's all on the wrist.
It's all in the wrist. Never pull.
Don't yank.
Don't
twist.
yank. Twist it. That's the secret to apple picking. Now, does that apply to peaches as well?
Mm-hmm.
When you take peaches off the trees?
Yep, we pick a lot of peaches and nectarines. This is one of the best plum years
Really?
that I've had in probably 3 or 4 years.
I have a plum
And we're
tree at
still
home.
picking plums.
I haven't really looked at it because we had a tree fall on top of it, so I don't really know if I have any plums. But
Yep.
pears, I don't. I have a pear tree. I don't get them every year, but the years that I do, I have a problem with the squirrels. They go up the tree, and I see the tree shaking, and I
I've
said,
had
"What's going?"
problems with the possums as well.
Really?
Yeah, they come in at night and they love pears.
Oh,
We've picked all the Bartletts already, but we're still picking Bosque.
oh.
So we should have the Boscs available through the month of October.
No, are they relatively sweet
Yeah.
pear?
Yeah. But the pears, you'll want to pick those a little bit underripe compared
And
to
let
the
them-
apples. Yeah, apples you really want to pick ripe. Pears you always want to
So
pick a
what-
little bit
So
under.
once you pick them underripe a little bit, how do you
And-
put them on your counter?
Yeah, put them on the counter for maybe 3 or 4 days, depending on how ripe you want them.
Because avocados, you can buy them, but when you get them home, they're pretty hard. So you usually put them in a paper bag to kind of soften them up for a
Yeah,
couple
just like
of
a
days.
tomato.
Tomato, you do the same?
Yep.
With a
If
paper
you
bag?
put it in the paper
Never
bag.
put your tomatoes in the fridge.
No, tomato never wants to be below 50 degrees.
Okay.
You're going to kill the flavor.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
We don't want to do that because
you-
tomatoes are so good in the summertime. Love them. Wish we'd have them all winter like that because they're just so good. But
We've extended the season a lot with the tomatoes in the greenhouses,
Mm.
but we're still not picking them in December, January, February, or March. But sometimes we'll start as early as April.
now how long will the apples last?
On the trees, we'll have apples on the trees, some of the late varieties, right into the beginning of November. And then we put them in some controlled atmosphere storage. And we usually have apples now right into May and June. We might even have some into July next year.
Do you have an easy recipe for applesauce?
You bite it and you chew it. That's the easiest.
And it gets soft in your mouth. Is
Yep.
that it?
And you have this applesauce. in
There
your
you
mouth.
go. Natural applesauce right there.
With the skin on. It's even healthier.
Yummy.
No sugar added.
All right. No, I think I just added.
Can't get
I
easier
just
than
added
that.
water, and just let them kind of stew
Well, you
on.
can take
in
a
the
drink of
pot.
water at the same time. Sure.
That's it. All right. So where are we heading to now, Dave?
Well, you said you wanted to see some potatoes with eyes. I don't know if I have any potatoes with
that's
eyes, though.
funny.
Well, while we're here, maybe we can go check out some lettuce and cabbage and
The eyes have
collards.
it.
And all right, let's go.
Come on, let's go. Well, Dave, this is pretty exciting out here. We're in the kale field. Is that what we call this?
Yep, this is the kale feed, and this is excitement on the farm.
Look at these things. They are so tall. They look like little palm trees. I feel like we should have some Hawaiian music in the background doing this, or something.
A couple of years ago, I had these growing up by the road, and a lot of people at this time of year are like, Dave, what are those things? They look like palm trees over there by the road. And no, it's kale. I mean, we started these plants in the greenhouse, I think early April,
Wow.
late March, and we transplanted them out here in early May, and we've been picking them almost about every 10 days to 2 weeks since, end of May, early June, and here we are in September.
But look how green and hardy they are.
Yep.
Now, what kind is this?
This here is called winter boar kale. That one over there that you see is known as Tuscan kale, also called dinosaur kale.
Oh, that's the
Or
dinosaur.
lacinato, so it's an Italian variety. This one here, the winter boar, is much more cold hardy. So the Tuscan, we'll usually stop picking that around Thanksgiving, but the winter boar will go right into December. We also grow this one in one of the greenhouses, and we harvest it right through the winter.
Oh, that's excellent.
People love kale. It's now known as a superfood, and it's just full of nutrients. And you can make kale chips. You can replace it.
I tried that.
Oh yeah.
Kale chips.
Yeah. If you do it right, that's a secret. If you do it right, they're
You're,
really
you're going to
good.
have to re-instruct me
It's
because
very simple. You just you rip apart the leaves. You take off the rib and everything. You drizzle some olive oil and dash of salt on
that,
it.
did that.
Kind of massage it in.
massage. Maybe that's what I didn't
Well,
do.
you need to know how to do a good
What?
massage, Gay. And then you put it in the oven, I think around 350 or so. And you might flip them once or twice, gently, very gently, until they're nice and crispy. And then you just eat them like they were a potato chip. But they're so healthy, and they're just so full of nutrients. I mean, these things are just sucking up nutrients from the soil. And then you're putting it into your body. I mean, you don't want to eat eating dirt to get your
Well, no,
nutrients.
no.
You don't want to be just taking vitamins all the time.
No.
So eat your kale.
Eat your kale. Now, I did try a new I guess it's a vegetable. It's called molokai. Are you familiar with it?
No.
Molokai is, it almost looks like a weed, and they have the tiny little leaves on the stem. You take the leaves off of the stem and put it in like chicken broth with chicken. It's supposed to be even higher in antioxidant than this.
Is it also known as New Zealand spinach?
No, it's called Egyptian. The pharaohs. They used to make it just for the pharaohs. and you make a soup out of it.
Huh.
It's very tasty. It tastes. It's like amaranth.
Okay.
It reminds me of amaranth.
Yeah,
I mean, I love
Canadian
amaranth.
greens.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're green. They're just the tiny little leaves.
Because
that-
we also do grow some amaranth greens
You do,
as
I-
well.
I usually get those. I love amaranth. We make amaranth, collard greens, Swiss chard, and do you put spinach in it too, Bob?
Yeah.
And we put a ham hock in the water
Yep.
and give it the flavor.
Mhm.
Then we take the ham hock out and put all the greens in and let it
Good.
cook. Oh,
I mean,
delicious.
we should all be eating more greens.
I know.
You know, I mean, you look at the crap that most people eat,
I know.
and you get all this good stuff growing around here that people should be eating.
That's right. So take advantage of what's out here, right?
Just and throwing into soup is one of the easiest ways.
It really is, and it's tasty.
Super tasty.
Very tasty.
Yeah, yeah.
And good for you.
Good for you.
Yeah,
I've
so-
also seen people swap out kale for the romaine lettuce in a Caesar salad.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never thought of putting it in salad.
Hmm. It's surprisingly good.
Wow.
Very good. And super healthy. I mean, you know, they say lettuce is really, you know, not that nutrient dense, but you swap it out for these things. And these things have so much more flavor. You don't need as much flavoring and dressing because usually it's the dressings that kind of kill the healthiness of
Well,
things.
that's it. Blue cheese dressing, and
Yep.
kind of takes away from it a little bit. Although it is good.
But like this ground here that we're standing on, I mean, this ground was, you know, when I took over this field probably about 10 years ago, where we're standing was probably about 8 feet of brush.
Really?
It had been fields about 30 years ago and then it was let go and the brush just came up and, you know, it's part of the power line easement here. And we spent about 3 or 4 years just beating back that brush. And then now we're plowing the fields regularly and all those nutrients that are, you know, in the soil, we've made it now available to grow these nice things like the kale.
Now, do we have any problem with animals over here? I mean, do certain animals like kale?
Kale, we haven't had too many problems with. I mean, on a small scale, you know, at the field edges, sometimes we'll have a little bit of woodchuck and rabbit damage.
Yeah.
But at least not yet. The deer haven't touched it because
the
I
deer-
find
Well, the deer head for your apples.
they go for the apples. That's why we have the deer fence. They also have been getting a little bit of a liking for the beans and the lettuce
Really?
as well. But so far, they
Oh.
don't seem to be going
They've
for the kale.
expanded their horizons,
They
huh?
sure have, yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah.
That's great.
So if you want some venison, you know, just come on out and get it. I'll be happy to get rid of them.
Oh, that's funny. So now, when do you harvest this? Actually, I mean, there's so many to.
So we like to pick it in the morning. You know, right now it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. Usually we like to pick it anywhere between 6 and 9 or so. So it still has all the moisture in it. And it's not going to wilt right away after you pick it because it's still full of moisture.
Right.
It also breaks off much easier with a little bit of that morning dew on it.
So you just do one leaf at a time?
One leaf
I mean,
at a
don't-
time.
Oh,
There you go.
I
ready
didn't want to
eat.
do that, Dave. Eat your kale.
Yeah, and you can see all these baby leaves that are in the center are going to grow out and
You're gonna
fill
get
out
more?
and eventually get to that size.
Wow. Now, will it get taller?
Oh yes, no, I mean, 2 months ago the plant was half the height.
Oh boy.
And if the season was long enough here, you know, it would get up to your height.
Wow.
But because we're now starting to enter the shorter day length time of the year and cooler temperatures, it's not going to grow as fast.
Probably get to Bob quicker than me.
Maybe he's a short guy.
Just saying.
And then further up the hillside, we also have some red Russian kale, some winter boar kale. There's some cabbage over there, some Romanesco.
Oh, I like the
broccoli.
Romanesco.
Broccoli. We're also picking broccoli now.
First time I ever tried it was with you.
Yep.
And that's very good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It is good stuff. You grow good stuff.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. We have fun over here in the field. I hear people behind us.
Coffee time.
Coffee break. They've been out picking all morning. They got it's time for a break. I half expect to see Mr. Waller come out with some cookies.
He made the coffee.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
We can go see him if you want.
Sure, we'd love to go see
Go
Mr.
ask him for some
Waller.
coffee.
Yeah. Did you realize I just talked into the kale instead of the microphone?
Did people hear you better? It's a superfood, you know.
I just
If
went,
you
"So,
talk to the
so, tell
superfood,
me." I can't believe I just did
you want me
that.
to hold that,
Yeah,
or
sure,
do you want
Dave.
to
I'm out
switch?
of control with the kale.
Some people use it more for a fan.
Yeah,
You go for the microphone.
I know. I can't believe I just did that.
Hey, everybody's
My
different.
face is
Everybody
red,
has their
I mean,
way. We still like you.
Well, thank you, Dave. I love you too.
Did you want to try to talk into this one?
What?
It might sound a little different.
Oh, now that is much better, isn't it? Is it lengthwise is better or?
Ask Bob. He's listening.
What do you think, Bob? This way or this way? It looks like a smile if I do it this way.
It does, yeah.
Kind of looks like a smile, you know.
Did you notice this? The greens actually almost match.
It does. We try to coordinate our, show.
Well, we coordinated. Now the kale's almost coordinated.
Yeah, I know.
The kale's this kale's not quite. It's a little off.
Yeah, that's a little.
This
off.
kale got it just right.
That kind of matches perfect. Look at that, huh?
It's like Christmas around here.
It is. Oh, Christmas is too soon. We don't want to talk about
sorry,
that.
sorry.
The sun is out now.
The sun is shining brightly.
It warmed up. It's great. So, where are we going next?
You wanted to see some potatoes and corn, so that's what I heard. I mean, there's so much we could see. It's all up to you.
So, what's the new crop that farmers plant now?
We've been growing the same thing for years, Gay.
Can you work with me here?
That thing. The thing that used to be not legal?
No, just work with me here.
All right, I'm working with you.
Okay, do you remember the question?
No.
I said, so what new crop do farmers plant?
Potatoes?
Beats me.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going, work with me, Dave. Work with me.
This beats right up there. If
All right, there you go. Ooh, boy, it's been a while. Got to get back on the swing of things here, kids. All right, Dave. So a minute ago we talked about, when we make the soup with all the greens. And I just noticed that now we're in the Swiss chard field.
Yep, well, here we are in the Swiss chard. You can see some Swiss chard here. Don't I look like I'm about to walk up an aisle?
Yes, that's lovely. That's lovely. We'll just put a veil on you. And
But no, yes, we're now in the Swiss chard patch. We have two Swiss chard patches. This is the first of the two. This one we planted plants in the ground mid-May. The later one was until the end of June. So we've been picking these for quite a while. And yeah, we also grow the spinach that you mentioned you like putting in your soup.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the greens are just, we grow a very wide range of greens. I mean broccoli rabe,
that's very good
arugula.
Arugula's a little more bitter, but it's very good.
Mm-hmm. No, it's nice to have that nice mixture.
Salad?
We also grow an Ethiopian kale,
Really?
which is veering a little bit more towards a mustard. But all these different countries and ethnicities kind of have their different greens.
I forgot to mention. I mean, here we are picking kale and Swiss chard. Can anybody pick anything else over here?
We also have pick your own apples. That's kind of the big one that people like to come and pick. And the pick your own apples is every weekend, right through the fall in September and October. And a couple of years ago, we had some potatoes right next door to the apples over here, and we did pick your own potatoes as well.
Really?
Next year, I should probably put some potatoes close to the apples again because people really liked digging their own potatoes.
I was just going to say, they bring their own little forks, or
we provided a
provided
fork,
them?
a pitchfork.
That's
But yeah, no, the pick your own apples. I mean, it's great to see the kids out there having fun, and
It is.
that apple just picked off the tree. You just can't get that flavor of an apple
No,
anywhere else.
Can't get it any fresher than that.
Yep.
So tasty.
Yeah, people love it, and it's nice they can come pick apples, and they can also see all these other crops growing right here, and we also
Absolutely.
take them on a nice hayride, and they can see so many different crops, including the tomatoes and asparagus and
That's
raspberries and blackberries and blueberries and strawberries, all these things growing,
Everything.
so they can.
But it's nice for kids to see that, see where it comes from.
Yeah, we get a lot of kids coming on school tours, and so many of them, you ask them, well, where'd your food come from? Oh, the supermarket. Well, no, but where did it come from? The
Originally,
supermarket.
yeah.
And so many of them, it's not just that a lot of them are coming from the cities.
They
Even
just
those that
don't
are in the
know.
suburbs now, they don't have gardens like they used to.
No.
They don't understand how
No,
food
they
is
don't.
grown and where it comes from. So it's kind of nice to be able to provide that educational component to people.
And not only that, but when you're growing your own vegetables and whatever, the probiotics in the dirt are extremely good for you.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, we're not trying to disinfect our crops
No.
or anything like that, and we're not plastering with all the chemicals like I just mentioned to you earlier. The kale, nobody likes to have worms in their cabbage. But
No.
there's an organic spray that we use.
Oh.
It's called Dipel, and it's just a naturally occurring bacteria called Bacillus thuringiensis, which we spray on the kale and the cabbage about every 2 weeks. And if there are any of those worms on the leaves, chewing up the leaves, when they ingest that bacteria, it gets into their digestive system, and in about 3 or 4 days they die. But it's naturally occurring. It doesn't hurt humans at all. So to maintain that high level of probiotica in the food is also critical.
Absolutely.
And when you're consuming foods, first of all, it's great to be eating a lot of fruits and vegetables.
Sure.
Secondly, it's better to be eating that healthier level of fruits and vegetables full of the probiotics.
Because I know, like, we didn't do a garden this year because we both had our surgeries and stuff, so we couldn't do it. But last year when we did it, we planted zucchinis, and we found that those white butterflies sort of flock to those zucchinis.
Yeah.
And they plant those worms at the
The
bottom.
eggs,
And
yeah.
it usually rots from the base.
Yeah.
We've noticed that.
The borer
Those
gets
are
it.
the
Yep.
borer-
So the
borer-
moth lays the eggs, and the borer, the
Right.
worm hatches and then bores into the
Those
into
are
the
big,
stem.
ugly. They look like aliens.
Yeah, they're not aliens though. They're naturally occurring. Again, that's the thing. I mean, all these things are naturally occurring. They should be here, and it's just how do you still get food out of the ground? Trying to work in concert with those natural enemies.
How do you deter a woodchuck from getting into your garden? Or you
Plant a lot.
so you have extras after
Yeah, I mean,
he eats most
yeah.
of the garden.
Yeah, but again, I mean, if it's on a larger scale, that one woodchuck can only eat so much. It's more the deer where we have the greater problems because you get a herd of 8 deer can really eat a lot of vegetables.
Because I know I put a fence around my garden, and he knocked the fence over.
That's a
And,
strong
Oh,
woodchuck.
he was big. He went into the garden, knocked it over. Then he proceeded to eat my sunflowers. I had to replant all of my sunflowers because he ate. They were only
Yeah.
like this high up. He managed to eat all of those, and I had to start from scratch. The same with the green beans.
Yep.
The green beans, I finally went out and got chicken wire because I have a fence around it, but he burrowed underneath the fence.
Yep.
So I got chicken wire and dug it deep so that he couldn't get past the chicken wire.
Mm-hmm.
I said, boy, they're smart. And when he couldn't get into from our yard, he went to the next door neighbor's yard and burrowed under the fence from that side. I said, oh, he's such a devil. I
Yeah.
said, man, he's going to get this garden by hook or by crook.
Yeah. When they see the good food, they want to get to it.
Wow. I said, he will stop at nothing.
But yeah, all the wildlife seems to be doing so much better than it was years ago.
But they're smart.
Of
They're
course,
very
they're smart,
smart.
very smart, and they talk to each other.
Oh, do they?
Oh, sure. They say, "Hey, have you tried that lettuce over there? You
Hey,
haven't?
you
Oh, come with me. I'll
See
show
the
you where it
neighbor's
is."
yard? Looks good over there. Yeah. Come on, follow me.
Or
I'll
you
show
think that's kale's good? Let me show you some Swiss chard. Follow me. Let's have a party in the Swiss chard.
I know, a good hot spot. Come on. And we saw quite a few of them. I mean, the next door neighbor says, I don't know what to do. I said, there's nothing you can do. I said,
Yeah.
we've tried everything. I said, he's going to get to it when he wants it.
Yep.
But I haven't seen
Have a
that
heart
many.
trap is one of the best
I
methods.
do
And they
actually
tend to
have
go
heart-
for pears. I find if you put some pieces of pears in the heart trap, they seem to go for that.
I have to have a heart trap. And funny thing is I opened it up and I put lettuce. And I put the lettuce way, way, way in the back of the trap so
Yep.
he would go in.
Right.
Oh,
Didn't you?
no. He put his little paw in,
through the side,
pulled the
yeah.
lettuce right through the side, and the trap fell down, and he wasn't in it.
Reset it and put it in the middle.
I said, isn't he smart? And I watched him. I said, do you see what he's doing? I said, he's actually pulling it out with his paw on this side.
This was entertainment for you.
It really
actually.
was. But I said, oh, so where did they come
You were
up with it?
enjoying this whole.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised.
Well, I'm
that
glad.
they could do that.
It's good to know you're enjoying the wildlife around us.
I wasn't happy with him.
Somebody has to eat. Might as well let him.
Yeah, I suppose.
Have you ever tried grilled woodchuck?
Oh, no, please.
Squirrel's good. yeah.
Oh, God, you guys. I said, well, if I could have caught him. then
I have
maybe-
confidence in you, Gay. You'll catch him eventually.
No, I think he's gone now.
Well,
But I do. This is the first time in years. My next door neighbor, I was talking to her, and she says, hey, something just ran under your car. I said, should I be moving quickly? I said, away from here. She says, no. She said, it's coming out now. I said, okay. And I'm backing up. I said, what have we got? It was a little rabbit. Never ever have had a rabbit.
Yeah, I think the rabbit population is
bunnies.
increasing.
But I said, well, there's probably something over there. I said, I'm sure there's some sort of new
Rabbit meat's
nutrition
tasty.
that they can find
sure.
over here. Rabbit's tasty too?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh,
Bob says it's expensive.
yeah, well, good. I'm not eating it.
Bob says it's $25 for a rabbit. You can get one free in your garden.
Providing you can catch them.
Well, you're growing all the food for it. You didn't even have to pay for the feed. Well, I
know,
guess
huh?
maybe you did in a sense.
And kind of nature's.
$25 for rabbit
Wow.
meat.
Nah, I'm all set with that.
They're easy to cultivate. I mean, you can have some rabbit hutches in your backyard. You can have your garden and feed the rabbits and
Yeah, that sounds like a wonderful
Sure.
idea, Dave. For the neighbors. Not for me. Thanks anyway.
well, think of all the nutrients you'll be getting if you broaden your horizons on your
Yeah,
all the different meats you're eating. Get the meats right out of your backyard, Gay.
It's okay. I'll
I
stick
believe if they're eating your crops, then you're
entitled?
You're entitled to them.
Okay. I'll stick with the burger.
I'll keep it at that.
Thanks anyway.
Entitled to removing them at least.
Alrighty. So where are we heading now? We going to potatoes or?
Well, sure, let's go see some potatoes
Are there any left?
underground.
Underground.
Yeah.
Sure, you can't see them with the naked eye. Or a cataract.
All right, let's go dig. Let's
Yeah,
go pawing.
Let's go find
Remember, you go
something.
pawing for potatoes.
Pawing.
Pawing.
Look at my nails. I mean, I could
Yeah,
probably
you're
do
gonna
that.
dig some nice potatoes. Don't scratch the potatoes though. That's the
I know.
concern here.
All right, we'll move along.
All right, moving along. Potato time.
I know. Well, Dave, we're over here in the lettuce patch. Is that what you call it? A lettuce patch?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right. So do you have more than one variety of lettuce over here?
We do. We grow a red leaf lettuce here in front of us. Behind us we have a green leaf, and then further behind us is iceberg and romaine. We also do a red leaf, a red Boston lettuce or red butter crunch. What else do? We do an oak leaf and a green oak leaf and a red oak leaf.
Wow.
So yeah, about 7 or 8 different varieties.
Now, how does that vary in taste-wise? Is the Boston lettuce like a the butter?
We're close to Boston, so it probably tastes better here.
Well, of course, it tastes better here. We're on a farm.
I mean, this is a nice red leaf here. It could be a little bit bigger.
That's all right.
But yeah, I mean, each variety has a slightly different flavor.
Now I have my own bouquet, Dave.
I like to think the best salad, is a good combination of the different varieties.
Oh, that looks so wonderful.
Yeah, enjoy
Look
your
at
bouquet.
that. Oh, yes, that's lovely.
Romaine's back there. I probably won't hop away. And then also we have a couple of stragglers. You probably know this one.
Is that the Romanesque? No.
No.
No, that's bok choy?
Bok choy, very
Bok
good.
choy.
We also grow tatsoi.
Oh, yes.
That's another very popular
This
one
is
for us.
excellent for stir fry.
It is. And amongst the lettuce here, do you recognize this one?
Where are we? You know, that looks similar to the, I forget what it's called though.
It's called purslane.
Okay, it's very similar to the Molokai. That's exactly how the Molokai looks. And you take the little leaves off?
You can eat the stem and all.
Really?
Yep. It's very popular with Italians. If you came over from Italy, you would be very familiar with this.
Do you cook with it?
Also, Caribbean islanders call it verdolaga. We sell a lot of it to them as well. So kind of to those two different communities, the Italians and the Caribbean islanders.
Do you put it in a salad or?
You can put it in a salad. You can add it to soup. Try some. It's actually nice and tender.
All right. Oh, that's good. Want a
You
piece?
can kind of saute it and then throw in some
Oh, it's very tasty.
scrambled eggs.
Mmm.
It's very good stuff. So all
It's
that
very
going in this
tasty.
little spot here.
How can you find?
A little piece.
Oh, this is very good. Purslane?
Purslane. This here is a type of amaranth.
Isn't it good?
You want to get this one before it starts to produce a seed head. But that's a type of amaranth. That's also in the very nice green.
I love
sell that one
amaranth.
to a lot of different Asian groups and Central Americans. So this is more Caribbean. That one's more Central Americans.
That's very good, isn't it?
Bob's saying, "Give me the mic."
I think he's saying that.
So this one's
I'm
very
talking
popular.
into the lettuce now.
I'll talk into the purslane.
Yeah, could you please?
The purslane is very popular with Italians and also with Caribbean islanders. They call it verdolaga. This one here, this amaranth, is very popular with a lot of the different Southeast Asian groups, as well as with Central Americans. But we have to
But
get
that's
it
not
before
a
it starts to put out
salad
the seed
green,
head.
is it?
This one is usually more cooked.
Cooked.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I did with it. I cooked.
But yeah, again, all these wonderful greens. We keep saying we're going to go to the potatoes and get away from greens, but
I
we
know,
keep ending
but,
up back in
but
more
the
greens.
greens are so tasty.
They are, and they're good for you.
They are.
And they're pretty.
They
Nice,
are.
very nice bouquet there.
Thank you.
Have I mentioned your nails?
No, oh no. No, not at all.
Let's move on.
Yes, yes. Oh, yours are lovely too, Dave.
Thank you. Have you seen my hair?
What? This is good, the purslane, huh?
It's excellent. And again, think of all the nutrients in it.
So you can just eat it
And there's
raw.
Biza behind us. He's picking lettuce for today's markets.
Oh.
Picking out the perfect heads.
Now, what's the furthest you go?
The
For-
furthest what?
For the CSA? What's the furthest
Oh,
you
the
go?
CSA
Or the
or
big-
farmers markets or
Oh,
both.
farmer's market.
Both combined, I would say Newburyport,
Oh.
Gloucester,
Wow.
and then all the way down to Quincy, south.
Down the South Shore.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Dave, this is something new for us over here. So tell me what you have over here.
You don't look so comfortable.
I'm not real comfortable, Dave. Look at they're flying all around my head over here.
So these are our beehives. You can see the bees hard at work.
I see them very closely. Thank you very much.
You are not comfortable at all.
Whoa.
So no, the bees are not going to bother you because they're so busy. They're busy as bees right now. And
I
they're
trust you.
out foraging in all the different fields and forests for different food because they want to pack those hives with food to get through the winter. We've already taken off the honey for the year, so now most of the honey that remains will be their food to get through the winter.
So what do bees eat?
Well, they forage for nectar and pollen.
Oh, so they go to flowers and
They go to flowers. Sometimes they go to trees. They'll sometimes take up some tree saps that to make propolis for inside the hives. But they're out foraging, and they'll fly over a mile, and they'll tell each other, oh, go here. I found some good food there. They'll do the nice little dance,
do the bee dance?
the bee dance.
The bee.
Tell
Do
you
they
which direction to go?
Do they generally follow the queen, or do they have their own
Well, they
little
usually
group?
follow the line, the bee line.
The bee line.
Yeah. No, they don't.
Is that where that expression comes from? Make a beeline.
Make a
for-
beeline. The bees fly straight, don't they?
All right.
The queen stays in the hive.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a little
Did
close,
you get hit in
Dave.
the head?
A
You're
little
in their
close.
way,
You want me to duck? I'll just lay down.
Now we're talking about ducks. A minute ago we were talking about rabbits, and
So, Dave, I noticed that you were just over here in
Yeah.
the field, and you just
we're-
picked something.
Yeah, we're all about the bouquets today. Apparently, I think you have a wonderful bouquet. So I
Thank
thought
you.
I would have. Well, this one would probably be a nice filler for some of your bouquets, don't you think?
That's
And you have
lovely.
no idea what this is, do you?
What do you call that greens in the flowers? Gee,
Want me to help you?
yeah.
So this here is asparagus.
Oh,
So the field right
That's not
next
in the
to
flowers.
us, you can see this big field here.
really?
This is our asparagus patch. Now we pick the asparagus spears in May and June. Once we get to mid to late June, we stop harvesting the spears.
Oh.
That we usually harvest about a foot long, and then at some point we let them go, and then they grow up into these large bushes, and that spear, gets tall and lanky, and now it's photosynthesizing, and it's absorbing all those nutrients from the ground, putting all those nutrients from the sun and soil into the root system.
Okay.
So basically, right now we're growing next year's asparagus crop.
So is
Next
this
spring-
edible or no?
This is not edible. No.
Okay, no, it's just the.
No. So this is just basically the branches
Right.
of the asparagus.
Okay.
So again, these are putting all those nutrients into the root system, and the stronger that root system grows this summer and fall, the better of a crop of asparagus we'll have next spring.
So do you ever have white asparagus or just the green?
I don't do the white asparagus. You can do the white asparagus. It takes more work. You basically just have to keep it covered
is that
and away from the light
special-
of the sun.
Yeah.
It's more labor intensive.
Well, that's like with the beets. You have the golden beets as well.
We have golden beets. We have the Chioggia beets,
Now, what are they?
also known as candy stripe.
I haven't. Been.
They've got their red and white stripes on the inside. Yeah. I still feel like the red, more traditional red beet has a better flavor to me, but the other two are interesting.
I like the red beet to me is a little more earthy, where the golden beet has more of a little sweetness to it. It's not quite as earthy to me.
I think you're right on the a little bit less earthy, but I also find that in general, and that's in general, the red beet tends to be sweeter to me.
Oh, okay.
And again, it all depends on the different soils and if there was a lot of rain or not so much rain.
And how about the red and white one? How does?
It's an interesting color and look.
Yeah.
I still, over the years,
Flavor.
have gone back to the red
The red.
myself. But again, to make a salad interesting, you put those three beets together and it's just amazing
Oh,
appearance.
I'll bet it is. That sounds really good. So I like to put blue. Oh,
I just want to give you some filler.
oh! I thought you saw a bee there. Dave, there's no more room in my hand. Oh, gee.
There you
Oh,
go.
thank you. Oh my, that's wonderful.
All of it. Much better.
Okay, you're in charge of the mic now. I got no hands.
You're getting quite comfortable now with the bees.
Yeah, as long as they don't get comfortable with me, I'll be fine.
But no, just the way you were saying that the rabbits and woodchucks eat all your vegetables in your garden, then you can eat them. In a sense, these bees are going out and foraging on all the nectar and pollen that we're not going to eat, and then we get the benefit of all the honey from them. People love our honey, and the other nice thing about honey is a lot of people feel that local honey has a lot of the more beneficial characteristics, especially if you have allergies, because that honey will have, specks of local pollen rather than pollen from who knows where.
How long does it take for the? How long does it take to make honey? That's what I'm trying to say here, Dave.
You want to interview the bees?
No.
How long does it take you to make some honey?
No, I'm saying.
Did you hear?
You're aggravating them now, Dave. No, I'm saying once you.
Yes.
When did they start, and how long of a process is it
Well,
before
those-
you can actually
Yeah.
make the honey?
So
That's what I'm
they'll
asking.
start foraging, mostly in May. There's not too much for them to eat in April, a little bit, but they'll start foraging then, and then they'll put that nectar into the cells,
Right.
and then they have to fan off the humidity, the
Okay.
water, to bring it down to the perfect humidity level, and then they cap it with wax.
So you don't use. Sometimes I see on TV that they use like a smoker to. What is that for?
So you use the smoker to calm the bees.
Do we have any of that now?
We don't need to calm them. These are calm enough bees. No, you put the
Just saying,
smoke to
Dave.
calm, because then they think there's a fire and they say, oh, geez, we better go inside, protect the hive. There's a forest fire, just, relax, no, not necessarily relax, but get in the hive and be calm. But
Okay.
we don't have to do that because we're not opening up a hive right
No,
now.
I feel so much more comfortable here now, Dave. Really?
Do you want to go see the potatoes finally?
Sure.
I'm looking over the bees.
All right.
Bob's gonna go look at you. You get a close up of those bees, Bob. I'm gonna step out here. I have to say they didn't. They did come close, but they really didn't bother
No,
me.
again,
They
you're
didn't
in
bother
their
me.
way.
But-
They don't care about you. You're just standing there. You're in their flight path.
Oh.
If you ever get
As
bopped
long
in
as
the
they
head,
don't. Yeah, I know it. He was pretty close.
you were in the beeline.
I certainly was. And then Bob started singing. Oh,
What was he singing?
because of you, there's a song in my heart. I don't know all the
Keep
words.
going,
Go ahead, Bob. Oh,
got a
did
bee.
you see that?
Bee flew in my ear.
I just bounced right off your face. Oh, oh my God.
I wonder what's that direction
What?
that he's going for.
He's
Or
making
she.
his
It's
own
actually- Those
beeline.
are all ladies, by the
These
way.
are all women.
Yeah,
Oh.
those are the worker bees are all female. The drones
So what
don't
are
do
the
anything.
males do?
Nothing.
Well, that's swell.
Is that typical?
Just sort of hang around the hive,
got it.
know.
They guard the queen.
They guard the queen. Well, there's only one queen, isn't there? Is there one queen per hive?
Well, sometimes there's two, they take off with her, and they split the hive.
Oh, Bob seems to know.
Yeah, he's talking about, sometimes they'll swarm and split the hive in two if there's a second queen produced. And oftentimes that's because, the space of the hive has filled up and there's no more space. So, hey, let's half of us get out of here. But first they have to produce another queen.
Oh, so at
And they have to use the royal jelly to
what
do that.
the royal jelly. Oh boy, oh boy, it's been a long time, huh, Dave? You're catching up real good. Royal jelly. Oh man. We were sitting out in the backyard one time, and it went right over our yard. I mean, like swarming.
Swarm, yeah.
They didn't bother us
Yeah.
because we were sitting outside, but the whole thing just went right over our heads and just kept flying like through other neighborhood yards. And I said, "Oh, where are they going?"
Yeah.
Is that what they do? They
Yeah,
swarm
and then
they.
eventually they'll find a spot and they'll kind of rest there for many hours. And if
Oh.
you can capture the swarm, you can get them into a hive and hive box, and then you've got a whole new hive for yourself.
Do you get hummingbirds out here?
Yes, we do. Yeah, those are also good pollinators.
Yeah, they're
But
very
there's
good.
so many more bees,
Oh, you
and we
do?
have a lot of other natural pollinators as well.
Yeah, we have the hummingbird feeders on the deck.
Mhm.
I noticed this year we had a lot more than what we usually do. But we've had a lot more hornets this year than I've ever seen. I don't
Were
know
you
why
feeding
that
the
is.
Were you feeding the hornets as well?
No.
You sure?
Oh, I'm not intentionally. No, I could see them zipping past me as I'm sitting on the deck. I went, there goes another.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
goes
yeah.
another. And then one got me. I said, oh yeah. Just going up the stairs, minding my business. Got me.
All right, Gay, let's go underground.
All right, let's go underground.
Well, Gay, now we're over at Taplin Farm.
Oh, okay.
Which is right through the woods from my farm. And you can see we've got this nice,
Look at the
beautiful
view.
field of green here. We grow in about 3 different fields here, and another field and pasture are all the beef cows. And this field, every year we're rotating our crops. Last year this was all cabbage and
Oh.
broccoli and cauliflower. This year we decided to put in a crop of beans. So we've got shell beans, green beans, and wax beans. And
Okay, these are yellow beans?
yeah.
Oh,
Yellow
the wax.
beans,
Oh,
wax
look at
beans,
those.
butter beans, call them what you want.
Oh, those are good.
It just rained a couple days ago, so we're going to try to get in here and pick these before they
eat these
go
raw?
overripe. Oh, yeah.
Oh, those are good. They're very good, Bob. They're sweet.
Here's your bouquet.
Oh, lovely.
That's your bouquet for this field.
Oh, thank you.
And next door to the wax beans are the green beans.
I love butter beans. Those are so good. Now, are butter beans in the lima bean family? Kind of?
They're different. But we also have the green beans here. We've already picked the green beans. In this section, we have to pick further over. But sometimes we'll go through and do a second harvest for some of those stragglers that were kind of small at the first picking. We'll go through and pick those a week or so later, depending on the time of
So
year.
do you have to replant or do they just keep continuously grow?
So a lot of the beans you'll get in the supermarket these days are actually harvested by machine.
Oh.
And there are different varieties that you grow if they're going to be harvested by machine because they're a little bit tougher to withstand the machinery. The varieties that we choose to grow are not meant for machine harvest. Those that are meant for machine harvest also tend to have what's called a concentrated set, so you get all your beans all at once because the machine's going to destroy the plant as it harvests. Whereas these varieties are nice and much more tender, but they also don't have as concentrated of a set, meaning that there'll be more flowers coming along to produce more beans later. So we'll sometimes, even if we're short on beans, we might even go back and harvest a third time. But usually the 2 harvests is all that we do.
Now, do you have any problem with animals like our friend Woody coming out here?
Who's Woody?
Woody Woodchuck.
Oh, Woody Woodchuck.
I name my friends.
Most of my friends already have names. Are they friends?
what do you call you? Woody Woodchuck.
We have a lot of Bambi here,
Okay.
and Bambi's sister, and Bambi's brother, and Bambi's uncle, and Bambi's
Okay.
grandmother, and sometimes they come out here 8 at a time. You'll oftentimes find them here at
Really?
dusk. Yep. In fact, this field in particular, Bambi and her whole extended family really liked
That's
mowing
so
down
nice.
these plants when they were younger, and I was a little concerned that we might not even get a harvest out of this field because they were
really-
grazing
Oh, yeah.
very heavily here. But at some point, the plants kind of got to a certain point where I guess they decided they didn't want to eat the leaves of the plant anymore, or they found something better to eat. And their grazing of the plants definitely delayed the harvest here.
Yep.
But as you can see, we've got a beautiful harvest.
Yes,
And
we
the
do.
other key thing is, it's a large field.
Sure.
They weren't
They
able
can
to
only
eat
eat
the whole
so
thing.
much,
Correct.
yeah.
So we
And then
plant
they-
enough for Bambi, enough for Woody, enough for Peter.
Peter.
And
Yeah,
enough
all
for
the
Gay
kids,
as well.
all the kids. Nice, we covered the whole.
One happy family out
It
here.
is, it is.
You should see the parties out here at night.
I'm telling you, I bet you they're wild.
Like I tell you,
Literally
come out
wild.
here at dusk, and then around midnight the opossums come out,
Wow.
and what's the raccoon's name?
Rocky.
Rocky.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Rocky's out here at
Rocky
night.
Raccoon.
Oftentimes Rocky will come into the cornfield at night and strip down some ears of corn. We can go to try to find Rocky if you want, but at this time of day,
Almost said. They usually come out at night. They're nocturnal, aren't they?
they tend to be, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. During the
You
day.
see them during the
oftentimes-
day, yeah. I think you better stay clear.
Agreed. Oftentimes they're sleeping up in a tree during the day.
Yeah. No, I actually caught a raccoon when I was a kid once. Well, he actually fell out of the tree.
Into your arms?
Close to him, I put him in a little cage, and then Mommy come after him. So
And you named
that-
the
that
raccoon
was
Rocky. Okay, I see. That's pretty good.
I let him go though. Obviously, he wants to be with Mom.
He wanted to be a mom?
He wanted to be with Mom.
Oh, okay. Wanted to be with
And
mom.
she
yeah.
was much bigger, so I said, I'm not messing with her.
You're pretty smart, Gay.
Oh yeah, you know when to fold them.
All right, we keep saying we're going to the potatoes, but we never seem to get to the potatoes.
Well, how far are the potatoes from here?
As far as the eye can see.
Oh, well, that's pretty much what I'm looking at right here, as far as the eye can see. So, what other beans did you say
I
you
meant
had
the
on?
potatoes have eyes.
yeah, that
Okay, I
means
wasn't
it
sure
is.
if you.
Yeah, that was very good. So, where are we now, Dave? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. He's busy eating right now. Well, you might say we're outstanding in our field. But had to be said.
Do I have corn in my face?
No, you're okay.
We're in a cornfield, Gay. No.
Thank you. Kind of got the gist of that.
Maybe the fact that I was eating an ear of corn
Yeah,
gave it away.
Yeah. Could have.
Wait, I have to get you your bouquet, don't I?
Oh, I have a corn bouquet coming. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. Today's the day of bouquets. Oh, isn't that lovely? Oh, that's lovely. Oh, thank you. Oh, so you're becoming quite the decorator.
There's no asparagus here.
What? Look at him. Oh, wow, that is just superb.
We're doing weddings now, Gay.
I feel like a scarecrow out here. It's just. Oh, that is just.
They
so
do cut the skin a little bit, so just be careful.
Oh, thank you. How festive do I feel? Ta-da! He says he's so proud of his work.
It's an edible arrangement.
Yes,
Oh, wait,
it is
that
an
might be
edible.
trademarked.
Oh, scratch that.
Okay,
Yes,
so
you
we're
can.
in a cornfield,
Okay.
and this corn is almost ready. As you know, we grow a lot of corn.
Mm-hmm.
People love our corn. I mean, this really needs like another,
Oop,
this time of year, 2 or 3 days.
that's a little guy.
It's not a very big ear, is it? But I mean, if you gave this another 5 days, this would, fill out very nicely.
The end would fill out more.
Yeah. So I mean, we had apples earlier. That was breakfast.
We had our salad. We did have our salad.
I'm moving on to lunch.
You are. I see that. So, Dave, I have a question for you. Where do those baby corns come from? How do you get baby corns?
It's a little bit too mature, but so baby corn. If this was picked maybe about not even a week ago,
Oh, look at those.
this would have been a baby corn.
Oh,
So you can see that's like a large version of a baby corn. Right
gee,
there.
how did they get them in the jar?
Yeah, see, this is
Uh-oh.
when it's younger, it's much sweeter. Like I said, about a week ago, this would have been a good baby corn.
Because they're very tasty.
They are.
They're very tasty.
We actually sell a good amount of them,
Really?
especially to Central Americans.
When do
They
you
use a lot of it
Oh,
for
yeah, look at that.
sancocho. It's a type of soup.
So when do you harvest the baby corns? How do you know when they're going to be ready, as opposed to letting them overgrow?
Yeah, I mean, you want to catch the baby corn just before the silk starts coming out of it.
Okay.
Okay. Typically around here, I usually find it's about 3 weeks from silk to a mature ear.
Okay.
So you're talking about 3 weeks before you would normally harvest the ear. You would harvest it as a baby corn, maybe even 4 weeks.
That must be like looking for a needle in a haystack, coming out here looking for the baby corns, isn't it?
No, not if you have an eye for it.
Oh.
We're moving on to the potatoes soon.
Oh boy, oh boy. Very good. Bob, you have any corn questions?
How,
He likes cornflakes. So how do you make cornflakes, Dave? Guess you have to dry out your corn. Wow,
So-
look at that stalk. Wow. Look at that. Now you have two on
so
here.
yeah, this is, you can see there's two ears here. So this was the, the primary ear. You can also call that the king ear. And then you have a second ear here. Some varieties will tend to put out
you
more.
say ear?
Ear.
Oh, okay.
Ear here.
Here.
Here. This ear is never going to be as big as the first one was, but sometimes we'll leave it and harvest it knowing it's going to be a slightly shorter ear, depending on where we're at.
So is the one that's on the top generally the largest one, and
Yes.
then the other ones are offshoots of the corn?
Correct. And it's the same thing with a lot of the other crops, especially the apples. If you get a cluster of apple blossoms, that the first one that opens is going to be the king blossom, which turns into the biggest apple.
Oh,
Oftentimes we'll harvest that off and let the others around it grow for another week.
I see.
Similar to here, we might harvest the primary ear and then leave
And let the top one grow a little more.
and let the bottom one grow.
I mean the bottom one.
Yep. But you can see, this still needs a few more days.
Now what kind of corn is this? It's light in color.
This is a butter and sugar variety.
It is.
This variety is called Providence. It's one of my main season varieties. We have some other varieties that we'll plant earlier that will ripen a little bit faster.
Now I know we've tried Silver Queen before, but I find that Silver Queen is not as sweet as the butter and sugar.
Everybody has a different preference. A lot of people find the Silver Queen to be sweeter. We are harvesting the Silver Queen now as well. That's in a different field because we need to isolate the Silver Queen from the butter and sugars.
Oh, because you don't want it to cross-pollinate.
Correct. If you have them too close, then you'll get some of the pollen from this butter and sugar variety floating in with the Silver Queen, and then you'll end up with some yellow kernels, which we still do get every once in a while.
Probably still tasty, but
Oh yeah. It's just more of a visual thing.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Any more corn questions for you?
I don't know. You got any more
No, I mean
corn facts?
We've been going later and later with our corn plantings. Used to be, 20, 30 years ago, it seems like we would not really have corn beyond the end of September.
Oh.
Every year.
Is that helicopter, Dave?
That's a helicopter.
It
They're
finds
coming
us
for you.
every year.
That's true.
It is true. That helicopter seeks us out, I swear. They found us in the cornfield, Dave.
Do you have a homing device on you?
Oh, no. Wow.
I think they want some corn. That's what it is. But now, we're oftentimes growing enough corn now that some years we actually get almost to the end of October
Really?
with our corn.
So that's probably the longest growing season. Now, you generally set it in the greenhouse? Or
The first acre or so, we'll start the plants in the greenhouse and transplant it out. Mm-hmm. That boosts it by about a week. That corn is oftentimes ready for 4th of July.
so the first planting is what, April maybe or May?
About April 15th outside, depending on the year. This year, it was a rather cool, wet April.
Yeah, it was.
So we actually didn't get the first corn planted until the beginning of May, which delayed the first harvest, obviously.
So the heat does not affect the corn, or does it?
No, actually the corn loves the heat.
Oh, okay. That's good then.
It doesn't really like the cold.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
But yeah, no, we'll go right into the end of October if we don't have a frost before then. And it seems like with global warming, the first frost seems to get pushed back and
Yeah, it
back
does.
every
It
year.
seems like more and more it's getting further away, which is fine.
Well, it creates a longer harvest season for all these
Absolutely.
nice local products like the corn.
Plus, we don't have to pull out the winter coat yet.
No.
That's fine. We're good. We're good with this. This is okay.
Can we take some screenshots of your different bouquets? I kind of like this one actually.
I lost one of my ears.
No, it's a leaf.
Oh, okay. Could you adjust that, please?
I forget where it was.
So, what do you think, Bob?
It's good. Thumbs up from Bob.
Th-
Wow, look at those nails.
No,
All right.
I have dice on them because I went to Foxwood, so I have dice and horseshoes and dollar signs and gold coins and.
That's interesting.
But I didn't win. The nails look great, but
I'll stick with the corn.
yeah, I think I'm gonna have to stick with the corn too.
How
Cause
about we get to those
machine did not
potatoes?
agree with me.
We keep talking about the potatoes.
All right, let's go to the potatoes.
Let's go pond.
I've had some festive bouquets over here, Dave. I think he likes dressing me. Here we go. that's still on. Dave, we made it here.
Here we are, finally in the potato
Yay.
patch.
Wow. I see somebody was gracious enough to leave us a couple of hose
There could be
to
a couple of hose.
show us how those hose work. Okay then. All right, look. Oh, gee whiz.
You're good, you're fine.
Wow, this is hard work. Oh, look at that. And
There's your
we found a
bouquet, dirty
potato.
bouquet. You
Hey.
can put down that hoe if you want.
Whoa, look at that. Woohoo. So these are red potatoes.
You think?
Yeah, I do think. Unless I'm colorblind, I think they're red.
So yeah, we
Wow.
grow white potatoes, red potatoes, yellow potatoes, russet potatoes.
Oh, we did fingerlings one year. You did have
Fingerlings.
fingerlings?
Yeah, I didn't put any fingerlings in this year though. But we got plenty of reds.
Yes, I see that. And they're pretty good size. Well,
Yep.
this one is anyway.
And then, I mean, on the hillside, we'll kind of keep going down the hill, and you know, there's later varieties down there that will, you know, first mow down all those weeds.
The meat.
Mead. We don't make any mead out of the wine, out of the honey.
No.
But we'll mow down the weeds, and some of these potatoes will actually leave in the ground right into November.
Oh.
Potato down.
1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4.
One potato, two potatoes. Oh, sorry.
5 potatoes, 6 potatoes, 7 potatoes.
you juggle potatoes? So we finally got our hands in the dirt.
We did.
After looking at all these different crops, here we are. This one I don't usually eat raw.
No.
You're free to try if you want.
No, I'm all set.
But when you're talking about all your probiotics and things, you know,
And the dirt is very good
Yeah.
for probiotics.
don't wash these potatoes too heavily.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of nice to leave just a
A little
the
bit of grit.
nutrients. The nutrients are in the skin.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the majority of the nutrients
Right.
are. And if you start brushing this so hard that you're wiping off some of that actual skin,
Yeah.
you're losing a lot of your nutrients.
Oh, okay.
Now, in a commercial production, some people say, well, that the skin is where all the pesticides are. But in a production like we're doing here,
Mm-hmm.
the nutrients are where you want to focus on and keep those skins on. And that's why
So
we
it's
tend to
better
go.
with skin on?
It's definitely better with skin on. Especially I find with the reds, and we've kind of done more reds over the years because again, if you're going to leave the skin on, it's a nice soft skin. This variety is called the dark red Norland. We also grow some Adirondack reds as well.
So I know
green
some of the
mountains.
white ones are very thin-skinned anyway.
Different varieties,
Seems-
yeah.
yeah.
The earlier varieties tend to be thinner skin. A newer potato obviously is a thinner skin. The later, more storage varieties tend to be a thicker skin.
Oh, okay. I
All
was
right.
going to ask you. I'm going to change the subject here from peppers. I mean, from potatoes to peppers.
Yep.
Did you do ahi this year?
Yes.
You did.
We do have some ahi peppers, ahi dulce peppers. We also have some habanero peppers, some jalapeno peppers,
Wow.
cubanelle peppers, some sweet cone peppers.
Bob actually,
green bell peppers.
we went to the supermarket one time and Bob bought what he thought was jalapenos. And we got home and he cut them up and he put it in his tomato sauce.
And they were habaneros?
No, they were Scotch bonnets.
Oh,
Holy
ouch.
moly. Oh, boy. Talk about running around in circles.
Running, all right.
So we tried to put sour cream in it.
Did it work?
A lot of sour
Yeah,
cream.
yeah, yeah.
No, you just, no. It does not work. So read the label carefully. Sometimes they get mislabeled, I think.
Bob probably can't see this on the camera, but you
Oh,
see that?
look at how tiny.
That's the famous Colorado potato beetle.
Oh,
We do have an organic spray that we spray against this. It's called Trident. It's similar to what we use on the brassicas, the cabbage, and things like that. It's a
Oh,
naturally occurring
please move it,
bacteria
Dave.
called Bacillus tenebrosus, as I recall correctly.
where does he go? I mean, does he go
To the bathroom? Everywhere,
That's kinda-
wherever.
I'm not that curious, Dave.
Basically, they tend to eat the leaves, and then obviously the fewer leaves you have, the less production you have, and less
potato.
potato you have.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But yeah, that's
He's
so we can basically kill it in its larval stage with that organic spray called Trident. Once it gets into the mature adult stage like this,
Oh, that's
it's
what it
much
is.
more difficult for us to kill.
Really?
Yeah, but if
They
we keep
tougher as they get older? Or?
yeah.
Oh.
They're not also eating as much. The larval stage is where they're eating all those leaves,
already full,
so they're not
right.
consuming that bacteria.
All right. Mm-hmm. Can we get rid of them now? Yeah. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. So that's potatoes.
All right.
Any other crops you wanted to see today? I mean, we can dig up some other yellow potatoes down there.
I think that
some,
the ahis used to be, if I
where the
memory.
corn is. There's also some leeks back there.
Oh, there's leeks too.
Yep.
Do you ever make leek soup?
Vichyssoise with leeks and potatoes.
How you do that?
Good. I kind of cook them both down and then hit it with a beurre mixer. Beurre mixer.
Beer?
Beurre.
Oh, yeah.
Beurre mixer.
The heel.
And then it's a
oui.
nice, very nice texture. The potatoes just kind of thicken it up very nicely.
Wow, that sounds.
But you
yummy.
need a really good flavored potato and leek to have a good vichyssoise.
So, what is the best potato that you find to use? And do you leave the skin on with the vichyssoise?
I
You
actually
take
do leave the skin on. Most people would not, because the French would kind of want that nice pure white vichyssoise. For health reasons, I would tend to leave the skin on. I think a Yukon Gold type or
Oh, yeah,
any
that
of a
would be good,
creamier
probably.
type of potato would be better.
I would think so.
But
too.
you could use any of them, really.
Yeah. See, what I do with the ahi peppers is I mix them with green beans and yellow beans, and I put some onions, and I just put them in aluminum foil and cook them on the grill.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really good.
I've been roasting a lot, grilling a lot of potatoes actually
Oh, really?
at this time of year. Yeah,
Right on the grill.
right on the grill,
So how do you?
along with all the summer squash and zucchini. You throw the corn
That
on
I
there,
do.
just throw everything on the grill.
Wow.
And then once it gets cold, then I switch over to the oven because the oven's also going to heat up the house at the same time.
Sure.
And
How do you do your potatoes on
I
the
just
grill?
roast them and just a
aluminum
little bit of
foil?
olive. No,
Right directly on the grill.
make some nice thick slices and throw a little bit of
Salt.
olive oil and salt on it, a little bit of pepper if you want. Throw it on the grill at a rather low heat. It takes time, it's kind of
Oh,
slow
yeah.
grilling, and then flip it every once in a while.
Wow.
Do potatoes that way, all the different summer squash, zucchini, peppers. It's
So they don't
delicious.
come out like French fries.
No, they don't.
I was just thinking the oil and the salt. And
Yeah, but not on the
maybe
grill.
it would be crispy like French fries.
When I switch over to the oven and bake them in the oven, or roast them in the oven,
Yeah.
that's where they're more like a French fry.
Oh, okay.
And they
crisp
tend to
up and-
dry down a little bit more in the oven. Obviously, it's a longer cooking time,
Right.
but it's much closer to a French fry. French fry, vichyssoise.
Oh, this is, yeah, these rent men over here, Bob and Dave. Oui, oui.
Bien sûr. Bien sûr. Bon, d'accord. Allons-y.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay.
We're done. All right,
Okay.
let's gather
if
up,
you say so,
gather
let's
up
go.
your spuds, and remember,
Gather
in Maine,
my spuds.
in Maine, digging potatoes is called pawing,
Pouring.
because you're pawing through the dirt, much like a bear would.
Okay, that's in Maine. How about here?
We paw also.
You paw
Yeah,
also. Okay. All right, that's good to know.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, Dave, this is a new addition to us.
It is. This is our new building. So we bring all those things that we harvest in the field into here, because the reality is you can spend all the time you want growing the product, but if you don't treat it right after you've harvested it, the consumer's not going to have a good, nice product. So we try to get it in from the field as quick as possible, rinse it in these tubs of water,
Wow.
and get it right into the refrigerator, take all that field heat out and cool it down, and that's going to give it a much longer shelf life.
What a difference from the last washroom
Yeah.
quote.
It wasn't quite a room.
No, it wasn't quite a room. It was more like a
Tent.
production line. This is great.
Yeah.
So can you put all the vegetables or all different ones in the same? Or
Well,
do you have to mix?
we're constantly changing the water. I mean,
Okay,
you can see
yeah.
we have 3 large bulk tanks of water.
Yeah.
We have a very good well here that produces 60 gallons a minute.
Wow.
So about every 15 minutes, ideally, we're draining one tank
And
while
filling-
another one's filling. And that's
filling
one
it.
reason why we have the 3, so that one technically is always filling while one's draining.
So what is she cleaning now? Is that the kale? No.
Yep, so that's the
That
Tuscan kale.
That is the
Grab one.
Tuscan kale. Oh, I see. So what's the cleaning process? You just put them in there,
Just rinse any
Just
dust
rinse
off
them?
it. Yep, that's
and
it.
then,
And then that'll go into a crate. That's going out into tomorrow's CSA.
Okay.
So she's just putting on these tags so we know how many are in each crate.
oh, okay.
So that tomorrow morning, first thing, these will get put into the CSA shares. You know, one bunch per member.
So they just
and
put the elastics around them, then rinse them, and then put 'em-
Actually, they do the elastics in the field.
Oh, they do?
Yep. So they get bunched in the field.
Wow.
And then a quick rinse here, and then they get put into crates,
Hmm.
you know, and then refrigerated. And so, you know, now, so these were probably, say, harvested around 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
By 1 o'clock at the latest, they're rinsed, put in the refrigerator. By 7 in the morning, they're going into the shares with all the different other vegetables, and then they're usually on the road by 10 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at the shares and see what goes in what.
Sure, that's in the other room. You want to head over there next?
Sure, we'll go over there next.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Gracias, ladies.
Okay, Dave, now we're out of the washroom right now, and where are we now?
So now we're in what we call the packing room. So everything was harvested, rinsed, refrigerated. Now these shares, you know, a lot have already gone out today, but these are going to be going out momentarily onto a truck.
Those
So
are
you
cool.
can see, here's the kale that, you know, made such a nice bouquet for you.
Yes, yes,
And
it is.
here's a nice bunch of arugula,
Oh, yeah.
romaine lettuce,
Oh,
the green beans that
The
you saw
green
next
beans.
to the yellow beans,
you got eggplant,
eggplant. We saw the eggplant next to the potatoes.
tomatoes.
Tomatoes, plum tomatoes, regular tomatoes.
And what is that? Is
That's a Cuban L pepper.
Pepper.
This is a yellow cone pepper.
Hmm.
A bunch of sage,
Oh,
bunch of mint,
oh, that's cool.
some onions as well.
And you have the paper tomatoes.
Yep. Then you have your
What do you call those?
husk tomato.
I actually grew them a year ago. They grew very. They come back every year.
They're excellent.
they're
And also
really
some,
good.
some grape tomatoes in there as well. The large share is in the yellow box. That also this week has some cabbage, chives, cilantro as well. Obviously, the large box has more than the small box. So, I mean, yeah, every week it's going to change a little bit.
But the little tomatoes, yeah.
Yep, great. That's actually a
Grape.
mixture. You got grape, you have cherry, you've got some yellow
yeah, you
tomatoes
have
in
the
there
good
as well. But yeah, these nice little grape tomatoes are scrumptious.
Very good.
Plum tomatoes to make yourself some sauce.
These are very hardy tomatoes. Plum tomatoes, they're even good on a sandwich because they hold their.
The juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you don't
They
get
don't
soggy
get
bread.
squirted all over the place.
Correct. So yeah. it's a very
Another
nice
one
mixture.
is another
Oh,
good
corn as
tomato
well.
is
Obviously, there's
oh, corn.
this week.
Another good one is Kamato.
Come out, yeah, the blackish
Kamato,
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the brown ones. Those are very hardy.
Let me grab a couple of those.
Those are very good. Oh,
That's the Kamato.
these are wonderful.
This variety is called Black Prince. And we also, you know, obviously the regular variety, a regular type of tomato, we grow several different varieties of that.
These are great, like the plum tomatoes. When you slice them,
Not as watery.
no,
Yeah.
they're very good on sandwiches.
Different tomato for different purposes.
So good.
All right.
Tomatoes are very good for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, very.
Well.
I love them. I eat them
I
all
love
the
them
time.
too. I like them.
Did I
I
mess
like
up
them
the
this time
box
of
at
year.
all?
No, I think
Don't
you did
touch
good.
that. All right, sealed and good to go. Mm-hmm. Hopefully somebody doesn't notice that we took some of their husk tomatoes. Do you want to
Two.
give somebody a surprise?
There you go.
All right. There's a certain way to pack these boxes, by the way, so that nothing gets crushed.
Okay, so what goes where?
Sealed.
That's it.
Ready
Signed, sealed, and
to
delivered.
go to your doorstep.
Oh, so you do grow the Kamatos.
We do, yeah. We grow probably more than a dozen different tomato varieties.
Wow.
Probably maybe even 24 tomato varieties
Those
if
are
you include
excellent.
all the different cherry tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes alone, we probably grow at least a dozen, all different colors and stripes. So
This has been a very fun day.
the other thing we've added is the kitchen. Did you want us to take
Oh,
a peek in
let's
the
go see
kitchen?
the
Bob
kitchen.
keeps talking about the kitchen.
Oh, Bob is in his own domain in the kitchen.
Let's go to Bob's domain. Domain
Yeah,
Robert.
let's go. Well, Dave, it smells so good in here. There's a lot of cooking going on in here, and we have two lovely ladies in here. one of which is your lovely wife, Jane.
That's right. Here she is.
And Jane, and Jane doesn't even want to look at us. That's okay. We got her. That was a good one.
Let me tell you, she's excellent in the kitchen.
But yes, I could tell that. It smells so good. Jane, how long have you been cooking?
Since I was in high school.
Really?
Yes, I actually worked in a bakery, so that's where I kind of got all of my interest for cooking.
So that's your forte? Pretty much. Well, I know Dave likes to cook vegetables, so
That's true.
you cook the other stuff,
Correct.
the good stuff. Not to say that's not good, but this is sometimes better. Smells great.
Do you want one? They're nice and warm.
Are they?
You can't beat a warm donut.
Oh no. Bob, want a piece?
She'll have his afterwards.
Oh my God. Wow, is that good?
So besides making the donuts, this morning we're also making cookies, but also at peak blueberry season, we took a lot of our blueberries and froze them. And every week or so, we're making our own blueberry bread.
Wow.
So this one was just made this morning.
Oh my gosh. Look at that.
It's fully warm.
I'm a horrible competitor.
You're doing all right there.
Take it out of the pan. There you
Oh,
go.
yeah. This is not my place in the kitchen.
That's not his place, Jane. she kind of agreed with me there.
But look at those.
Look at
those
the blueberries.
Nice full blueberries.
Bob, look at this. Can you get a shot of that blueberry cake? Doesn't that look scrumptious?
Now, if you don't necessarily have to be done with your donuts, but
Well, no, I'm going to share my donut with Bob. Oh, this is nice and warm, Jane.
so we've gone from apples for breakfast, corn for lunch,
To donuts and blueberry cake.
for dessert.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. And what does Virginia do over here?
Virginia's cracking eggs.
I bake.
You also bake?
She does, yes.
That's
So-
good.
Actually made the blueberry bread this morning.
Oh, my compliments to the chef.
Thank you.
They're excellent. Bob has always wanted a kitchen like this, Jane. He, yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
if you cook. Not me.
I'm just eating.
I'm just eating too, Dave. We're all set.
I mean, I love the stuff raw, straight out of the field, but
It's
gosh,
better when you mix it
cannot-
with sugar
you
and
can-
blueberries.
You cannot
It's
beat
much
that
better,
blueberry
Dave.
bread. Where else can you get a blueberry bread that was baked only like 200 feet from where they were grown?
Well, Dave, I see something that looks very, very yummy.
I'm getting
mean,
stuffed in here. How many years of corn I've already had before this?
Janie had 4 years of corn before we came over here.
Think of all those probiotics.
I know. It's all good for you, Dave.
So we also have
Oh.
these chocolate chip meringues, and look at this one, pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin
meringues.
spice meringue. Oh, are we in heaven or what over here?
Tis the season.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Go for
Oh, I haven't had meringues in so long.
it. Jane's been going crazy busy
Mmm,
in the kitchen, having fun.
they're so light. It's like eating air. Mm. Oh, Bob, you've got to try this. Why don't you come over here? Leave that camera on. Oh, yum. Oh, Dave, these are so good.
Try the pumpkin spice one. Even better.
Tis the season,
I
huh?
need to stay out of here. Outstanding in my field. I'm
Outstanding
healthy.
in your field is right.
I'm healthy out there.
Yeah. Oh, this is so good, Jane. The pumpkin spice.
You like that?
I haven't had meringues in years. These are really good.
The chocolate chip ones are my favorite. That nice little chew to 'em.
Yeah. Plus the chocolate tastes good in it.
You
Really.
can't go wrong with chocolate.
All right, this is called the. We're going to call this the snack stop.
No, this is a snack stop, all right.
Next, we should go into
Yep.
the refrigerators,
Oh.
so you can see the other part of how we get the product from the field to everybody that eats it in good condition.
Okay.
Because again, if you pick it with all the field heat and give it to people, and I had some stores that I used to sell to in Boston, and they told me, they were like, Dave, we get all this beautiful product in from you, and we put it on the shelf, but the next day it's like all wilted and
Yeah.
stuff. But it just, when it first arrived, it was beautiful. And I was like, all right, so the problem is we were harvesting it, delivering it super fresh to them, but because that field heat was not removed, it didn't keep well. So if you're going to eat it within the first 12 or 24 hours, it was fine. So that's when I realized I really need to focus on cooling the product down before I give it to people.
Yeah,
Because
I
again, if
wonder
you're not
how-
going to eat it within the first day, it needs to be properly handled. So that's why we try to cool everything down before we give it out.
How long does it stay fresh when it goes to the farm stand?
Well, it depends on how cold it's kept.
Oh.
That's the other secret.
That's true.
I mean, the colder you can keep it, basically you don't want to, once it's harvested, you don't want to break the cold chain. So you harvest it, take the field heat out, get it nice and cold, and keep it cold until you're going to use it. That's the secret.
That's the secret.
That's the secret.
Because you're right, it wilts very quickly.
It does. So
We'll
let's go
tell you
see
that.
how we maintain our cold chain.
All right. Well, Dave, it's a little chilly in here, isn't it?
Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Woohoo! So tell me what's going on in this room besides keeping our vegetables cool.
So different vegetables actually like to be kept at different temperatures. So this is actually our warmer refrigerator. This one we
Really?
keep at around 44 to 45 degrees. You saw the wax beans in the field?
Yeah.
Those, we want to cool them down, but we really don't want them to be too cold. Because
You don't want to freeze them.
No, but also even if you're below 40 degrees, they'll start to get cold damage.
Oh.
They're not going to freeze, but they're going to,
But they'll
after
start to-
some time, show some damage. Same thing with the peppers. We don't want the peppers to be too cold. Ideally, the peppers would be kept up around 45 or so.
What kind
So
of
those
peppers
are-
are those now?
This is called a sweet cone pepper. We grow a lot of these. We grow a red variety, a yellow variety, and an orange variety. We also grew some earlier in the greenhouses. Here, you've got your traditional,
Jalapenos.
and you recognize this one?
I do, my ahis.
No. So your ahis are sweet.
Oh, these are the hot ones. These are These are not Scotch bonnet.
Scotch bonnets look like
Habanero-
your ahi dulce. Very good. These are your habaneros. There's a
know,
red
they
strain.
look
There's also a
similar to
yellow
Scotch
strain. This is the
bonnet.
yellow strain of habanero, which starts green and then turns this nice yellowish color.
Oh boy.
What other peppers do we have in here?
Oh, they're all mixed in there.
And behind Bob, I think are some other peppers as well.
We have our
Also-
peaches over here.
The other thing that doesn't want to be too cold,
What's that?
which we didn't quite see this one in the field.
okra.
Um,
Oh, isn't it?
Yep, it's okra. We started growing okra last year.
How do you cook okra? It's usually gooey, isn't it? when you
Yes, it
cook
does have a very gooey substance to it. Brazilians love it. A lot of the Caribbean islanders love it. Africans love it. People from the southeast United States really are used to eating it. But here in the Northeast, the majority of the population that grew up here isn't that familiar with
I had
it.
it once in Florida, and I liked it.
Yeah, no, it's
But
good.
I don't know how they cooked it. It wasn't gooey. It was. They fried it.
Fried it.
They fried it.
okra. Yep.
It was delicious.
And we also, this year, we got
Wow.
these new bins.
Yeah.
So we have a forklift. So these are special controlled atmosphere bins. They actually come from France.
Wow.
I actually met the inventor of them at the Interpoma International Apple Conference back in 2014 in Bolzano, Italy. And so I got some of them this May. And the idea is we can put product in here, and then there's a special lid that goes on them. And each of these will hold about 15 bushel. You put that special lid on, and the lid has a special membrane in it, which will allow the oxygen to escape.
Oh.
But it won't allow oxygen to go back
get it,
in.
yeah.
So over a couple of days, the oxygen removes itself from the bin, and basically it's creating almost like a suspended animation for the product that's in there. And in the case of especially apples, and that's why I bought these, we're able. The idea is, because we just got these in May, but we're going to store apples in these. We'll put the apples in the bin, say in October. Keep them in the refrigerator nice and cold in the other section that we're going to go to next. And that one will keep down around 34 degrees. And the apples will store beautifully in those.
Really?
Right,
Wow.
right into June.
Really? Want one of those, Bob?
But we'll also be storing other things in there like beets and carrots and leeks and cabbage and all these different items.
And will they all last the same amount of time?
Different items will last different lengths of
different
time. Yeah.
times.
We also have been experimenting a little bit with our plums. We grow a lot of plums
see, they
over
look so
in
good.
Westford, at our Hill Orchard in Westford.
Oh,
So
Oh,
these
look
are
at
a
the
Stanley prune plum. This one's more of a pluot. And sometimes, you get like a variety like this that's ready, you pick it all. We give a lot to the CSA members. We put them out for sale in the farm stands and the farmers markets. But with these new bins, I'm putting some of that harvest, because it's only a one-time harvest, put some of them into that bin, and I can store them in there for like 3 weeks, so
that's
that,
good.
when we're all out of the ones that we first picked,
Then you can-
we have some others. And they wouldn't store that long if you didn't change the atmosphere.
now the pluots, that's a combination of a plum and an apricot.
You got it.
Really?
Yep. And this is our best plum and peach and nectarine year in probably about 4 years.
Really?
Yep. So,
So
kind of
would
a
you think
bumper
the heat
crop.
had something to do with that?
No, it's actually more the winter and early spring temperatures. One year, I think it was 2 years ago, it was actually Valentine's Day. It went down to like -10,
Whoa.
and that killed all the buds.
Oh,
And then if they're starting to swell in early April, and if you get really cold temperatures then down to like 15 degrees, because they've already started to swell and they have more moisture in it, that can also kill them off. And then if they blossom earlier than an apple does in like late April. So if you get freezing temperatures in late April at a certain night, you can lose the crop as well.
oh, that's too bad.
We also we didn't see the Honeycrisp apples in the
No, we
orchard,
did not.
but we have 900 Honeycrisp trees. So we're going to put some of these also into those special storage bins, so
Those
that we
are
can have
great
Honeycrisp right up until Christmas this year. That's the goal.
Yummo.
You want to see the colder side, or are you already
Yeah,
too cold?
no, go ahead. Let's go for it.
We
Okay.
didn't stop and see the raspberries, did we?
No, we didn't.
Want some raspberries?
Sure. A
These should
raspberry
be in the
box?
colder side. This is also kind of our prep room
Oh, let's go.
for the fruit share.
On raspberry? On raspberry?
We started making raspberry jam.
Did you?
Delicious.
Yum. Oh, he's taking the whole thing.
Oh, he's taking the whole thing.
Oh.
So we have these plastic curtains,
Oh.
which will keep the colder temperature on the colder side.
All right, you got melons in here.
So this pallet here, for example, will be rolling out within a half an hour. I think this is going to Tewksbury.
What kind of melons
and
are
this
these?
is for the CSA.
Are those the
So
yellow?
These are red watermelons.
Oh, red.
We also have the yellow
yellow
watermelons
ones.
right over here. So these are the yellow flesh watermelons. We're
Those
getting
are
towards the end of
so
those.
good. Oh my
These
gosh.
are the red flesh watermelon. And then we also have all the different types of cantaloupes that we grow. This is a petite variety.
Look at that.
It's cute, isn't it?
It is cute. But I bet you it's
I've
tasty.
been finding people don't like big melons.
Yeah.
'cause especially with families being smaller now, you just can't eat them all at once.
Oh no.
In this cold side, so this side we keep around 35 degrees.
What do we have here? We have what is this? That's
That is called
col-
Ethiopian kale.
oh, it looks
Very
like
similar
collard
to-
greens.
Very similar to collard greens, but also very similar to a broccoli rabe.
Oh, okay.
And here, you know now, which kale is this?
Oh, that's the dinosaur. No, that's not the dinosaur.
That's the winterboard.
That's the winter bug. Dinosaur is the dark one.
We just started harvesting the first.
Oh, cauliflower.
Very good.
Oh, yum.
Name that vegetable.
Name that. Do I win a raspberry? What?
So you can see up here, this is all Macintosh apples that we harvested.
Wow.
These Macintosh will be used up in the next 3 weeks.
really?
Other Macintosh we're putting into those special bins.
Yeah.
You see the lids up there.
Yeah.
And
Hope
can
you have a
see
big
also
ladder.
On the cold, we have a forklift now.
Okay.
But also we have all the lettuce is also stored in here. Pretty much all the greens need to be in this colder side for them to
Yeah.
last.
How long will they last in here?
Well, we try to get them out of here within 48 hours. So again, they usually get harvested in the morning, rinsed, put in the refrigerator, and then usually out the next morning or early afternoon. But again, getting that temperature down is key.
That's it.
We also oversize the refrigeration in here because in the middle of the summer, we're bringing in so much hot stuff. That's the other part. That's the other reason why we rinse in the tanks of water, and why we change the water frequently because the
okay.
water temperature is 50 degrees.
Yeah.
So say you're harvesting something and it's 70 degrees.
Yeah.
You rinse it in the water. Well, you're hopefully going to bring it down closer to 50.
Yeah.
And then you bring it into here and then you're bringing it down to 35. If you didn't first rinse it, then you'd be using a lot more electricity
Oh, I see.
to drop that temperature down from 70 to 35.
How cold is it in here, should I ask?
It's about 35.
All right.
All right.
Let's walk fast. What'd you do with those
So now
raspberries?
that you've seen the whole system.
We
of
have.
how we grow the things and harvest them in the field.
We have.
How we rinse them, how we refrigerate them. I think Bob followed some of the boxes going out to the truck.
Oh, did you?
So you can see how they get delivered.
A little bit, yeah.
You've seen how we use some of the stuff in the kitchen, so it's ready to eat.
Yeah, we know how the
That-
stuff in the
I think
kitchen
that's
worked out.
That was the best part, wasn't it?
That was excellent. It's good to be healthy, Dave, but you gotta kind of mix it up a little bit. We did, didn't we?
We sure did.
I love those meringues. Those were,
Yeah, excellent.
those,
weren't
I
they?
haven't had those
Yeah,
for years.
yeah. So it must have gotten up to 36 or 37. 'cause
Wow,
the
boy,
fans
having
just
a
turned
heat
on.
wave in here. Oh my gosh, the sweat's pouring out of me. Whew.
But no, we oversize the refrigeration so that when we do bring in a lot of product from the field, we can drop that temperature as quickly as possible. Because
I
you
think
don't.
we just did.
Well, I mean, it's a big difference if it takes an hour or two to drop the temperature versus if you were undersizing the refrigeration, it might take 12 hours. It's surprisingly a big difference. And at our old packing
Oh,
area,
yeah, that was.
I mean, yeah, geez, it took forever to cool
Plus,
stuff
it was
down.
so compact
and-
in
yeah,
there. It was
yeah.
very compact. This is so much better. Good luck with this. This is fantastic.
We're enjoying it.
Yeah, I could see why. I mean,
Yeah.
everything is so much easier for you
People
to
have
do.
actually commented that a lot of the quality seems better now, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, the stuff's coming out of the field the same.
Yeah.
It's just after it comes out
Now
of the
you
field.
have a better way to preserve it. Yeah, so
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
excellent. Let's get out of this room. I'm taking my raspberries and I'm going, Dave.
So yeah, we make raspberry jam, we make a strawberry jam. We started making an apricot jam this year, which is amazing.
Oh, I bet you that's good.
This is the first good apricot year we've had in probably like 4 years, like I mentioned.
Now, where do you grow the apricots?
Over at our
Tewksbury?
Hill Orchard in Westford.
Oh, Westford, okay.
So here's Gustavo. He's one of our interns from Brazil.
Hello, how are you?
He's
Huh?
taking this pallet. Where the CSN member over in Tewksbury.
Oh, he's taking the pallet to Tewksbury?
Yep. So he's got watermelons, raspberries, peaches.
He's gonna load it right on the truck now. Right onto the truck. Wow. That's excellent. Where'd all the girls go?
Beats me.
I
I think they finished washing. They're out picking beans.
Really?
Yeah. We don't like to pick the beans early in the morning because we don't want to pick them wet with dew on it.
Yeah.
So oftentimes we'll wait till the afternoon. We don't want to pick them in the heat of the day, but you can see today is not that hot out, so now they're picking more beans. You
Oh,
can see
okay.
We have enough yellow beans in there,
Oh,
but
you
not enough
certainly
green
do.
beans.
Oh, yeah. Well, you said you had picked the green beans a couple of times already?
We usually pick them twice. In the
Okay.
field that we were in, we had already picked the once, or at least that section of the field. All right,
What's
so
up, Bob?
I think we also, obviously you can see we're still picking the tomatoes.
Oh, yeah, look at those.
Getting towards the end of the tomato season.
Oh, yeah.
But we.
Do you find they get smaller as
Yes.
the season goes
Yeah.
on?
Again, remember the king blossom idea on the apple?
Oh, yeah, right.
Same idea with the tomatoes. As you get towards the end of the season, they start to get smaller and smaller.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
But now with all these new greenhouses, we're growing a lot more early tomatoes.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And a lot of people have been loving, we're doing a hanging basket of cherry tomatoes.
Oh.
And every year, more and more people are loving that.
Really? Are
Especially
they-
they get them at Mother's Day. So
Oh.
instead of buying a flower plant,
Right.
they're getting their mother or their grandmother an edible plant. And
That's
it's a
good.
nice hanging basket. And I mean, you get
Is it
tons.
sweet?
And you just keep picking those cherry tomatoes all summer long.
Yeah. As long as you water them.
As long as you water them. But we actually seed those around January 1st.
Wow.
So that they can be ready to start eating them
That's excellent.
around Mother's Day. And then you eat them right through the summer.
Yum.
And then the tomatoes in the ground in the greenhouses, we usually start harvesting
Are
those
those
around the
the
1st
large
of May.
cherries or are they smaller
I
cherries?
mean, kind of a medium size. Yeah,
We are ready, aren't we, Dave?
we are.
We're thawing out over here. Yeah, you need to have those jackets and gloves
That
and
was a
everything.
good tour.
That was an
Unbelievable.
excellent tour.
Unbelievable.
I wish you a lot of luck with this. This is
Thank you,
fantastic in
thank
here.
you.
Get it down, system down pat.
Well-
There's always room for improvement.
Well, yeah.
But compared to the last time we saw it at the other place where we had
Yeah.
the little wash area and everything was so compact where you stored your CSA and everything, this is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just,
I remember the way back when you used to grow your seeds in the greenhouses with water running underneath them. Was it water?
Yep, we still do that. Yep,
Oh.
the rolling flood benches.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
we still have those benches.
you do?
Still growing.
Are they in the greenhouses?
In the
Is that-
greenhouses, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
What are they called?
Rolling flood benches.
Okay, so how does that work?
The benches will roll back and forth so that you
Oh.
can walk between them, and it maximizes the space in the greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And then you flick a switch, or it's on a timer, and the bench itself fills with water.
Oh.
So then you're watering the pots of plants that are on the bench
From the bottom up.
bottom up.
Oh,
That's great.
still
Yeah.
there.
Still there.
That's really great.
Yeah. As long as people keep eating, we'll keep doing this.
I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Dave. It's been so long since we've done this, and I'm so glad that we're back in the swing of things. And let us know what else is coming up next, and we'll certainly come back and do something
Yeah.
else.
No, I think I like to think you learned something today and
We
share it with
learned a
everybody
lot
else.
of things today, and I hope everybody at home enjoyed it as much as we did.
Mm-hmm.
Especially those bouquets that Dave made. They were lovely, weren't they lovely?
There was a red kale out there I should have inserted for a little bit of a purple tinge. Next time. Next
Okay,
time.
you can dress me up next time. So, from
Dave.
Gay,
Bob,
thank you so much for joining us.
go to your local farmer.
Support your local farmer. Who's your farmer?
Who's your farmer?
Well, hello, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Where are you from?
I'm from Uganda.
And what is your name?
My name is Crispas Tweheo.
Very nice to meet you. So, how did you hear about Dave?
I heard about Dave from an organization. It's called CAEP, Communicating for Agriculture Exchange Program. So then I applied, and when I applied, they gave me options with different farms, and then I chose to come to Farmer Dave.
That was a good decision,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
It was. Anyway, at first I didn't know it was, but now I can realize that it was a good decision.
It is a good decision.
So-
We're glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank
So,
you.
what is your job over here?
Uh,
Or a little of everything?
yeah, of course. I first had to go through interviews from Dave, and then finally I came. I came here in March, mid-March, and it was winter.
It
So-
certainly was.
Yeah, it wasn't easy for me at that time because I was not used. I hadn't seen any snow. So
And then it came, huh?
yeah, and then it came, and I had nothing to do. So I had to persevere with the situation, and later soon things became better. Yeah,
Well, we're glad you did. Are you having a good summer?
yeah, a good summer, of course, but very busy.
Yeah,
So we've been doing a lot, and I loved it.
that's great. Well, working with vegetables does keep you busy for quite a few months.
Yeah, of course.
So
Very
many
busy.
things to do.
So many things to do and so many things to learn.
Yeah, I'm sure you've learned a lot over here.
Yeah, of course, I've learned a lot. And vegetables, in indoor farming, and fruits, and even markets and packaging, and a lot of things. So I'm so glad that the whole summer it's been so busy, but a lot of learning too.
That's
so
great.
Since I'm an intern, I
Yeah.
came really to learn, and I've really learned. So
What kind of vegetables do you grow in your country?
in my country, we grow a lot of cabbage, tomatoes, watermelon, and a few more vegetables, but we grow more cereal crops. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have vegetables that we don't have here? What vegetables do you have in your country that we don't have here?
I don't think we
Not too many?
no. But anyway, I don't know if we don't have here Farmer Dave or
No, you don't have
around
Farmer Dave.
America? I don't know. Okay, we have watercress. I've not seen it here. Watercress,
Oh,
and
watercress,
we
yeah.
grow a lot of it. So I don't know if there is any other.
What's your
Pretty-
favorite fruit to pick?
Of course, apples.
Really? You like picking apples?
I like picking apples, and anyway, I had picked them before and I loved it, so I was so happy to find here again.
Well, Dave took me to another farm a couple of years ago, and he had me up in the tree pruning.
Yeah,
That's not easy to do.
it's true. I pruned too, and
It's not easy to cut the branch.
it's true, but you have to do it because if
I know
it's
you
not
have to.
easy, it has to be done for you.
I think he gave me the thickest branch, to tell you the truth.
And I did the same too, but it was fine.
It is fun.
Yeah, it is.
great.
Yeah, it's great.
It's not easy, but it's fun.
You spend a lot of time pruning apples, actually.
Yes,
you?
I spent a lot of time pruning apples, and it was just after the winter, so
But it kept you warm.
But
It kept you warm.
true. Kept me warm and active.
very active.
Yeah.
Pruning trees will do that to you. Very nice to talk with you.
Ah, thank you. Very nice to see you people.
Very nice to be here too.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
So
think?
yeah, every year we accept a lot of interns from around the world, and Crispus has been an excellent intern this year, and I think like he's
Sounds
putting
like
out.
he's enjoying it.
He's enjoying it. He's loving it. He's learning a lot, and
Now,
that's
will he
that's what we're
stay
here
through
for.
the winter, or does he have to go back?
No, he's probably going to go back in December.
Oh, in December.
Yeah, at the end of the season.
And then you'll come back in March again? For the next
Gonna
year?
plan for that after December, then we can plan if I'm gonna come back or not. So
You should come
yeah,
back.
I still need to learn a lot. I would wish to come back, so it's just a matter of planning, maybe with David, and we see.
Yeah.
But he has his own farm in Uganda also. He has his own family farm there. He's running it from here.
You do. Oh, you're running it from here?
Oh, he's always on the phone.
Right?
Really?
Mm-hmm. I grew up in a family that liked farming, but only my parents liked farming. So all my siblings are doing different professions. Only me still loves agriculture. So
Oh.
I took up from my mom when I graduated from college. I started running the farm, and even when I'm not around, I still have to run the farm and make sure that it continues to move on well.
Wow.
So
So you're very busy between one farm and the other.
yeah, even when I'm here, I have to make sure I coordinate some things.
Now, how many siblings do you have?
I have 4 siblings, 3 sisters and 1 brother.
Who's the hardest worker? The girls?
I'm not sure because
What?
they do different
I know,
professions
I
and
know.
yeah.
I'm sure your brother does the heavy lifting, right?
Anyway, yeah.
He'll go along with that. So are you the oldest?
No,
Oh,
I'm the second last of all of them.
wow. And yet you're running the farm.
Yeah, I'm running the farm and I'm planning to expand the farm furthermore because they are willing to help me in everything
That's great.
and in terms of investing in, and then we expand the farm since it's a family farm. They trust me that I can do it.
Well, I'm sure after everything you've learned up here, you could take back and apply some of that towards your farm also, right?
Yeah, that's of course one of the primary reasons that I came here. I want to learn new things that if I put on my farm, it's gonna be unique for my country.
Oh, absolutely.
And then when I penetrate the market, I'm gonna be able to do something better.
Now, do you have apple trees and peach trees and all those in Uganda?
No,
No.
we don't have.
Can you grow that over there? Can you grow? Well,
Yeah, I
do you have the
can-
soil? Is that good for growing
I
apples?
can grow them, but only not on my farm. But if I have to grow them, I have to go to a region
Uh-huh.
which has a good climate, the good weather
Different,
for
right.
the yes.
Right.
Yeah, so there is a region in my country where they grow apples, and I've been there for some times, and they grow grapes too.
Oh,
So
You can make wine.
Yeah, they can make wine too.
You can. Just like Lucille Ball.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get in the bin and you step on it. Sure. Isn't that how you make wine? You crush them with your feet?
Yeah, but that one is from banana. That's what we make, and people love it. It's local brew
Yeah, it's a local brew. That sounds.
made out of. They step on it and
They do step on the grapes.
and it's awesome. I love it too. So
Is it mostly red wine or do you both? Red wine and white wine? have white grapes too?
Yes, we have white grapes, but mostly those are used for table grapes.
Oh, table grapes. Like
Yeah.
a salad kind of grape.
Yes.
Wow. Did you ever crush grapes
Yeah.
with your feet?
No.
I have one of those things called the machine that you put the grapes in and it takes the seeds out. And then
They say it is better flavor though if you
What-
crush it with your feet.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't drink it.
You wouldn't know.
Until you pass out. So, Dave, what's it been like having Chris here?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, all the interns kind of bring a different perspective and a different feel to the farm.
Oh, sure.
It also kind of keeps the farm, alive and always renewed every year by bringing people, from different countries that, are here to learn and want to learn and keep asking us questions of why we're doing this and doing that. So it keeps us on our toes too.
How many interns do you have up here this summer?
Seven.
Seven.
Yeah.
And where are they all from? Are they from?
Brazil, Republic of Georgia, Uganda, and Colombia.
Wow. And where
We
are
also
they?
had one from South Africa as well.
Where are they now? We just saw one of them going to the farm. That was.
Yeah, he's heading over to bring the CSA to Tewksbury. Crispus is here.
Yep.
Area is here out in the fields, I believe. Felipe, where did Felipe go today? Gloucester.
Yeah.
Oh, we went to Gloucester.
Yeah. I forget where everybody is.
Oh, that's good that you have-
in Lynn.
Yeah, Camille is in Lynn, and Guilherme has day off.
Oh, Guillermo has day off. Lucky
Yes.
Where's he gone?
Day off.
Day
Oh, it's a day off.
yeah.
You let him
We
have a
have that
day
here.
off? Well, I hope you put in for it early, Chris. That's great. Bob, you want to come over and join us again?
Got 35 minutes left.
Wow.
You
be
can
quick.
keep talking.
We'll
for
get to it.
45 minutes.
Well, we probably could, Dave.
So what language you speak in Uganda?
In Uganda, I speak. There are like 14 languages that are spoken,
Wow.
but my language is called Luganda, but I speak it with Swahili and 5 more languages.
Gee,
Wow.
Yeah,
you have
but
to build-
the official language of Uganda is English. So
is
we
it?
use English.
gee. So you have to
Wow.
know all these languages. You want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Do you speak French too?
I learned a little bit of French, but I don't speak much.
These two are French.
Go ahead, Bob.
Go ahead, you
Moi, je
start.
parle français je parle français quand je de balai. I mean, I speak French like a broom.
Speak French like a broom. Can you top that one, Dave?
Non, je suis pas le français comme elle.
I don't know what they're saying, Chris, but that's. I hope it's something nice.
I don't know too what they are saying. So
You better not know.
So how do you say thanks for joining us in French? Teach Chris.
I know how to say that.
I know. Teach Chris so you can all say.
I'm part Irish too.
Well, how do you say it? So Chris can
Oh,
say it with you. How
Dave
do you
can say
say?
it.
Thanks for joining us in
It
French.
always comes out in Spanish with me is my problem.
It always comes out. Well, French and Spanish are very similar.
They are.
I-
Go ahead, Bob. It's all you.
Merci tout vous, puis venez ici.
Not exactly.
Well, not
I could have said
exactly.
that.
Say merci, which is thanks.
Merci beaucoup pour.
Pour
Nous voyez.
nous voyez.
Yeah.
Did you get
There's
that?
a lot of ways you can say
yeah,
Merci.
beaucoup pour nos veillées.
it. Yes.
Hey, all right. He's a quick study. I'm still working on it. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Chris. I hope
You're
you had a
welcome.
wonderful summer. Thanks for coming up here. I'm sure Dave appreciates you too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. I also appreciate him because he gave me an opportunity and
Well, he's a good teacher. He really teaches you good
of
stuff.
Course, of course, he
But
teaches
easy,
us a lot of
He teaches easy,
Did
so
he-
you can understand.
Did he teach you how to cook?
true.
You didn't-
Actually, no. Crispus came as an excellent cook.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we're all cooks then.
What do you cook? What's your main dish? Or
Chicken.
chicken? How do you cook it?
I fry it first and then later add with soup and
Oh,
many other vegetables from.
Have you ever heard of Molokai, the vegetable?
No,
No.
no.
It's an Egyptian. It's like perline.
Purslane.
Purslane.
personally.
It's like it's like the purslane. It's on a stem like purslane. You take the leaves off, and you put it in a pot with chicken broth and chicken. The Egyptians used to make it for the pharaoh. The pharaoh was the only one who was allowed to eat
Eat the
this.
soup.
Uh-huh.
Eat the soup.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is great.
But we ate it. So forget about the pharaoh. We ate it. It was good.
Pharaoh,
So
Pharaoh.
much about Egyptian history. You want to dance like a pharaoh?
Yeah. You want to dance like a
No,
pharaoh?
you go right ahead. You
But I don't have the hat today, so I can't do it. All right.
So I'm going back behind the camera.
All right, go back behind the camera.
Yeah, I feel naked out here.
I know. Look at us.
Don't look it.
Look at the four of us sitting on a haystack. But this is
Don't
actually
make it look that way.
looks very good here. This is very country. No,
This is the old.
what is
milk room.
behind us, Dave?
You like our old milk room that we've
That's the old milk
transitioned
room.
into
Yeah.
a little
Wow,
farm stand for everybody that comes to pick apples.
that's great.
Pretty small for a cow to be in there.
Pretty small for a cow. Oh,
He's
boy.
a funny guy.
Oh no, it's not.